Please, you're as blind as a bat.
Oh, yeah, it's totally like I was sitting there going, of course, you use the actual title in
Yes,
the
of course.
episode, of course.
Yes. Well, I immediately thought, I was like, oh yeah, this blind as a bat was said in Batman Forever. If anybody was wondering where that line was from, that was from Batman Forever. The Riddler said it at the end when Batman tried to give him a little riddle to him, but it was a distraction. Anyways, guys, welcome to it's Sunday, so welcome to Batman the Fan-imated stream. An hour later than usual, so I apologize, but some things were happening today. But thank you for joining. I'm Dave the Film Junkie. With me as always, Mr. Scott McClellan. How's it going, sir?
Hey, it's so much stuff, so much other TV going on tonight. We're having a little bit of discussion. It's just it's like, wow, we had to like slide this one in as we were trying to watch other things.
Oh, I know. We got the season finale of Westworld tonight, so we were kind of talking about that. I'm finally caught up. I caught up yesterday morning. Watched the lead up to the season finale, and of course, the season finale premiered about 3 hours ago. So trying to avoid Twitter because people suck and their tweets about it. So I was like, all right, I know that's the thing. It's just like, so it's like, even if you're talking about it, it's still, I don't want to hear anything about the episode, even if you're not like talking about the ending, but you're still talking about, things that happen within the episode. It's just like, stop it. You don't need to do that.
And then I'm getting ready for the series finale of Better Call Saul tomorrow night. So
that's coming out tomorrow.
Catching up on the penultimate episode.
That's going to be like I was telling you, after I get done with Sandman and get through that, I'm going to finally jump on Better Call Saul. I watched like the first 5 episodes, maybe. I mean, because I'm a big Breaking Bad fan. Love that series. I watched it twice, and I don't know why I just didn't fully get on Better Call Saul. And it got to the point where I went, all right, it's only going to go on for so many seasons. I'm going to wait it out. And even though I've seen spoilery stuff and, but I'm going to just still watch it because, because it's Better Call Saul. So I'll get to it. But anyways, guys, what's going on? Pretty fly for a Filipino guy. Good to see you. Ryan, good to see you too. Let's see. Too much red. And yet people said Matt Reeves had too much red, right?
Oh my goodness, the color. Oh man.
Right.
I had such flashes during this episode, and I knew it was coming because I remembered what the Vision thing looked like in this episode.
Exactly. It was a lot. Yeah. Good red aesthetic going on here. Mama Film Junkie, what's going on? Had dinner with her tonight for a belated birthday for her. It was great. And also, had dinner last night with Papa Film Junkie, man. That's what's so great about having both my parents have their birthdays pretty close together, It was a fun weekend, definitely a fun weekend. A lot of food. I am so full. Jesus. Anyways, what's going on, Tyler? Good to see you. We got Mr. Fear Jason right here. And of course, we got Eric. But yeah, guys, the episode that we're going to be discussing tonight is Blind as a Bat, which, I remember, again, the thing that I said last week was the thing that I remember. And even when you look at it on HBO Max, it's Bruce in his robe, in his nice, little robe, sitting in a chair with a bandage over his eye and then some little sunglasses as well, just to help.
Oh, but he's got the cravat.
You got the cravat. Yeah, that's because it's
I'm just I don't know if I quite understand that fashion choice.
You know what? Yeah, it's
at that
you got to
point,
keep up appearances,
really,
even though, it's interesting choice. It's an interesting choice, but that was the one thing, and I was like, and then I was remembering as we went along, and of course, this is a Penguin episode, which you might not think about at first, is because there's no indication within the title or the title card that this is a Penguin episode, but a very much Penguin episode.
And I'm gonna say, I think the best solo Penguin episode to date. I mean, and it clears it pretty easily. Yeah. I think
it does. It's an exciting episode because it's interesting because the way the episode starts off, how they're showing off this chopper that basically has this stealth technology, this certain technology that has zero visibility flight and could do all this stuff. And what I love about it too is when they're doing the demonstration and Bruce is up there and somebody he works with, that I forgot. I didn't even think I caught her name, if they even mentioned her name. I don't think
I think her name was Dr. Lee.
Dr. Lee. Oh yeah. Well, now there you go. And I just like how when the helicopter is going, Bruce is just like sitting in a chair with like his legs crossed, just chill as the helicopter just like behind him. I don't know. That was one of the things I just kind of laughed at when I first watched, when it was just opening, because all the all the military people are like, oh my god, and Bruce is just kind of like, just chilling. Is it up there yet? But what I do like about it too is the fact that Bruce kind of like goes, I'm not sure if I'm comfortable, even though that Wayne Tech created something with a weapon, because they do like the weapons test.
Yeah, and I thought I remembered that being a line in the episode, because I will admit that when it starts and you've got like, the brass there watching this, it's like building war machines, like because you could almost justify it if all it had was the defensive capabilities,
right?
But the fact that it's got like the machine guns and then later the lasers, it's like I personally was surprised that this is something Bruce would have signed off on.
So it's a cool little line that as the demonstration's happening, he kind of looks to her and be like, that he's kind of uncomfortable with it, because it kind of keeps it keeps with the character, because Bruce Wayne would be kind of going, he's not Tony Stark, obviously, and it's just like, so something like that is like, he of course would love the stealth technology of it, because hello. And then of course what plays a big part in this episode, the Batwing, which is very stealthy, even though that the noise is kind of it's like, well, maybe not as stealthy as you want it to be. They're bats, but hey, it's fine. But so, and then it's funny too, because I love the cut back and forth with the display, and then you're seeing like the pilot doing like the levers, and you automatically just go, that's that black glove hand. That's not a good guy. It's not a good guy. You just sense it.
Well, it's like, why aren't we seeing the pilot? That's the deal. And as it's later revealed, and I think I hinted at this when we watched The Mechanic, these are the exact same goons from The Mechanic. Right. I mean, it's the same designs, the same voice actors. Like, this is like the one piece of continuity that between The Mechanic and Blind as a Bat, it's like the one time with the Penguin you see goons repeat themselves. I think Joker, we've seen some repeats, recurring henchmen. But Penguin, because we're only like 3 or 4 episodes apart, and like, nope, same actors, same designs, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, same everything. And then of course, when we finally get the reveal that, because obviously the chopper starts firing at everybody who's sitting down, of course, and everything goes haywire. And then some of the people, the military guys, find the pilots tied up, and it's like, oh yeah, of course. And then it gets revealed that, of course, Penguin is part of this whole thing that's happening, and basically it's just going to wreak havoc on what's going on with this demonstration, to the point where poor Bruce gets a flare of an explosion to the face. Man, it's almost painful to see, because you hear that good Kevin Conroy, he's like, that's
well, and also you get that explosion.
Yes.
Then I'm like, oh, come on, there wasn't just a flash. There's some shrapnel there. I'm sorry. Yeah. Like, he's a little too close to that car when it explodes.
Very close. And I mean, my God, you just kind of go like, holy shit. Like, it's and we always talk about how great the sound effects for the explosions, and even the animation for the explosions, it's always just right in your face right there. So getting that right there, and then immediately when Alfred gets him, and Bruce is like, he's all, no, I don't want anybody over here examining me, not the Wayne Tech doctors. I get me back home and let's call Leslie, which I thought was pretty cool.
Well, and then also that's kind of creepy when he goes, because I don't want anyone to know. I can't see.
It's so dramatic.
It's so dramatic. It's so dramatic. But as a kid, that's a little creepy.
It is.
Like, because they gray out the pupils, and really what sells it is Conroy. Oh, yeah. I mean, Conroy just has that despair in his voice.
He really does. And you're right. The way that they made his pupils grayed out, and it's just like, geez, what is this? Watching as a kid, and you're like, oh my God, Batman's blind, but then yes, obviously he doesn't want them to examine him. This is what Leslie's for. Leslie, we got to remember Leslie Tompkins. She plays a big part in this episode right here. Really helps him out because obviously she does examine him. This is where we actually see him, in that interesting wardrobe choice, sitting on the chair. And basically says like, he took his retina's pretty much got like a little flared out because of the brightness of the explosion and probably the heat and everything. He took a nice little shot to the face, I guess you could say, to the eyeballs.
Yeah, I think she called it, they got flash burned. So, and obviously that's something, and that's something that can heal as long as he keeps his eyes closed and covered. And, they, basically don't put any more strain on the eyes until they've had a chance to heal themselves. And of course because, it's always interesting. Like, you've got like the gauze patches, and then you've got the bandages, and then she still puts sunglasses. It's like we're like completely blocking out any and all light whatsoever.
It's like you didn't have anything that would just do that, like in the first. I don't know. I guess they needed all that. Who knows? It makes everything look. It looks interesting. I mean, they're literally putting like the glasses that Bernie from Weekend at Bernie's wears, like those little like circle glasses like over the bandages. But and then it's funny too because obviously Bruce is like he doesn't want to sit around for 36 hours waiting for his eyes to heal. So he's like upset about it. And then of course the bat signal is already up. And I love what Alfred says. You have a call on your private line. It's like, I love that line. You have a call on your private line.
But it's also kind of a little sad after that because he's like, I'm not going to let like a pesky thing like not being able to see stop me. And then the fact that like he knocks the table over and like can't see anything, and you just look at Alfred and he's just like, this is not good.
Like he's looking at him going, yeah, how am I gonna stop him from not wanting to go out there and do something right now? And then like my immediate response is, well, where's Dick? Where's he at? Call him up. Is he what is he at? Is he overseas? Is he like what is he doing? Call him. Get Robin in this shit. But of course, we wouldn't have a story without that. But when you just think about little things like that, it's like, you have a sidekick, don't you?
You have a sidekick. It's like it's the reason. That's the one time that this series doesn't quite work. Sometimes when Robin's around, is like, what? Why don't you call?
And then we also have a Batgirl now too, so I mean, but that's not, but that's not, she can't just call her because I don't know who she is essentially. Maybe of course Bruce probably does, but yeah.
So it was just, but there's also kind of like that little sad moment where you see Jim up there with the bat signal and he just shuts it, he checks his watch, shuts it off, goes down to the office with Mayor Hill and Bullock, and just like,
they didn't show up. Sorry.
He
didn't show. And then of course we got the Penguin that is demanding $100 million. Jeez, he shot high. $100 million. I mean, man, I tell you what, that's he's looking for some scratch right there for them to get that chopper back and not to do anything, wreak any more madness. Was a ransom? Yeah.
I got a question though. Okay. How do you talk through the TV? I'm just like, I'm like, I get how Penguin is communicating.
You see his contraption. You see what he has. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. But yet, I can't talk to my TV. Like, this isn't like a smart TV. Like, I just can't go, hey Google, and like, and suddenly like it like starts talking through it. It's like, that was the one part that's like, yeah, your communication setup is great, Penguin. I don't think Mayor Hill has the same setup.
Yeah, probably not. Or maybe he does and we didn't know, but they only had 22 minutes to like fit all this stuff in. They couldn't explain. Maybe Batman hooked him up with some kind of technology, some kind of, speaker thing, where you have the feed and then you have some kind of two-way communication or some kind of phone line. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I get it because it is just like a normal TV and they're just talking to him. It's not like just at first too. I was like, oh yeah, the penguins just sent them another message and they're just watching it. Oh no, they're actually talking. Oh shit. So yeah, you're right though. You're right. But maybe it's something like that. But Batman probably hooked him up. Who knows? But yeah, $100 million he's asking for. And then of course, I love that little part where Mayor Hill like breaks his pencil because he's just like, it's just a pencil breaking moment. We all have those moments where you just want to break a pencil, I'm sure you've had a couple of those maybe this last week.
yes, definitely. I have had those moments. And then of course, the penguin immediately moves into, okay, you don't believe me, let me do something. And of course, what does he do is he shoots up a suspension bridge.
Shoots it up.
I'm trying to remember. Does the bridge actually like collapse, or does it just crack and crumble, and those teenagers get off?
Well, they get out fine, of course. But yeah, he starts shooting at the suspension cables, or things that are holding everything up. But as that's happening, and those things are, the concrete, the road starts breaking up, and then it all just kind of shatters in on itself and falls into the river or to the water or the ocean, whatever the hell, the water right there. So, but yeah, of course they get out fine, and then of course Bruce is listening to all this on his up-to-date radio with the dials. So,
I was like, oh, we're listening to the Shadow now.
I know, right? Oh, what are you going to change next? Yeah, what are you going to change next to? War of the Worlds. War of the Worlds is going to be on next, folks. Yeah, but it's just funny. I mean, again, we love the old aesthetic that this show put out there, but it's just funny how he's just sitting there listening, not listening to the TV, but listening to this old radio that's just like, oh shit. And he's hearing all this, and it's like, all right, I can't just sit around and let my eyes heal. I gotta do something right here. And that's where I wrote the note. I'm like, where's Dick? Where's Robin? I mean, give him a call. That's where I actually wrote the note. But yeah, it's funny. But then so then we have Leslie. I mean, this happens really quick too, by the way. She constructs a nice little piece of headgear that goes over his eyes that uses the copter's technology, that technology of, what did they call it? I think I didn't write out the note.
Oh, it was like Z.
Z something. Yeah, I should have wrote it down, but I was writing too fast. Yeah. I can't remember either.
Yeah. And also, but there's Leslie with the freaking blowtorch. Like, you get Leslie putting this thing together? Dude. I'm like, I could buy Alfred putting it together. Like that, I could buy. But Leslie there with like the blowtorch and the face shield and everything. And I'm like, I can follow instructions. And I'm like,
that's what was funny about this episode too. It's like they needed Leslie Thompson, Leslie Tompkins, and they just needed her in this episode to, of course, make the house call. And then they're like, well, we still got to utilize her a little bit more. We can't just have her for one scene. We're paying maybe it was like, oh, we're paying the actress to come back and do, let's get her in another scene. Let's get her making this contraction he's going to put over his eyes where he can actually kind of see, in a sense where it's like everything's all red, of course, but maybe they were just kind of going for that. But I was like, hey, go Leslie. She has some, she's not just a doctor. I mean, she'll sew you up and clean your wounds and all that stuff. But man, she'll also make some fucking contraptions for you right there. Good on you.
I was just sitting there going, Funnel Fairy Butter Bar, Funnel Fairy Butter Bar.
I didn't even think about that. Did not even think about that. I did not even think about that. You're right. That totally reminds me of, oh shit. I did not even put that together when I was watching. Holy shit. Right as I was taking a drink. Good one. I like that.
I just saw it. I was like, oh, this is my moment.
That's good. That's just good stuff right there. Yes. That is totally that. Yes. Wow. I did not put that together. That is awesome. And then like when it comes to this headgear, essentially, yeah, like I said, it's using that technology that we saw with the chopper, the chopper that has, of course,
get to the
chopper. We got to get the chopper back from the penguin. Come on. And so it's like obviously it fits over his head, and it's pretty cool because it makes his eyes red, which I thought was pretty neat. But of course, it needs to be charged pretty much. It doesn't hold a charge that well, or it just always needs to be charged.
Okay, thank you. It's like, it needs to be charged. No, it needs to be plugged in. That sucker doesn't have a battery worth crap.
No, it's a terrible battery because, I mean, obviously when she makes it, he hooks it up to like his belt, and I'm like, all right, utility belt probably has some kind of battery powered charge in it. Sure, I totally will believe that. And then I love how Bruce like does like an ultimate test, and he goes into his like little acrobatic, workout room, and then of course does a little kick for the dummy, and then like obviously Alfred's like, well done, sir, and he's like, yeah, well, I was going for his head, but good enough, just good enough, so
right. But then he gets into the Batwing. And he immediately plugs into the back. I love how the Batwing has like an electrical port, like just right there, because it's whenever he wants to plug in his iPod, into the Batwing. Yeah. But once again, it's plugged in this entire time, and by the time he needs to be able to go mobile, it's like
recharge,
and
yeah, this battery. I mean, well, let's face it though. Let's remember though, Tompkins, she basically is like, Leslie has made this really quickly. I mean, this was a speedy job. So maybe like they couldn't find a proper power source. So we can give the benefit of the doubt of like, hey, the fact that it's like, okay, they made this pretty quickly. So maybe that they just didn't have something that could hold a proper charge. So maybe we could think about that. I don't know.
I don't know. Or just the fact that this technology obviously just sucks some serious juice.
Sucks. Like it's serious juice. Let's see. What are the chances that the device Bruce uses to see from Wayne Enterprises that Leslie uses for her? Yeah. I mean, I guess if there's somebody needed something that that had eye problems, sure. I could see that. But anyways,
but also the only thing, maybe that's something that would happen later, though, because it is referenced in this episode that technology was recently developed for the helicopter. Yeah. I mean, they're building the device based on, the fact that technology was being used with the helicopter. It's also why we never see this technology ever again in the series.
Of course not. But I like it. Obviously the cowl fit. The cowl fits perfectly over it. But yeah, like I said, he's got red eyes now. And then it was kind of cool. It was kind of interesting because, when he there's like a part where you actually see the bats. I don't know. It's not when the Batwing takes off. You actually see the bats, and they all. Did you catch that they had red eyes too? Maybe I'm imagining it.
No, I did not catch that.
I was watching. No, I was like, the bats had red eyes right now too when they just showed them. I'm like, all right, there's probably just some kind of choice that the animator shows. Like, oh yeah, Batman has red eyes. Let's make these bats that fly and everything. And when we transition to the other scene, let's make them with red eyes. But yeah, I caught that. Maybe I'm imagining it. Who knows? But I thought that was kind of cool, I will say. But then we get to Mayor Hill. Of course, they can't raise $100 million. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's $100 million. And then of course Batman then shows up. Obviously, we have Bullock, we have Gordon, all in his office again. And I love when there was like a even like before the previous scene that they were all in Mayor Hill's office. Bullock said like, "What's Mr. Trick or Treat? What can Mr. Trick or Treat do that we can't?" Or something like that. He said something about Batman. He called him Mr. Trick or Treat, which I thought was pretty funny. It's a good line.
Well, and I'm also thinking about like the Penguin's demand. It's like, when you set such a ridiculously high dollar amount, it's like, do you actually want to get paid, or do you just want to cause havoc? I mean,
I think in his mind, it's like $100 million. Yeah, I just want to like wreak some havoc, and then maybe I'll get a little bit of scratch, like a little bit, like whatever that they try to give me or something like that. Maybe he's thinking about that, but yeah, he just wants to really, maybe his idea was like, oh, it's going to take him a while to get this money, so I'm going to just do all kinds of damage that I can until I get paid. So yeah, you're right. It's like, what does he actually want to do? Does he want the money, or does he just want to just blow shit up, I guess you could say?
Well, and also there was a part of me also that when Batman shows up in Mayor Hill's office, is no one going to comment on the fact that Batman's got glowing red eyes? Like, is that just like not a thing we're going to acknowledge at all?
Nah, nobody's gonna notice it. You would think Bullock would notice it. He'd probably say something like, "Geez, Bats, what'd you smoke tonight?" or something like that, or I don't know. Your eyes are looking red, or something. Eat some eye drops. I don't know, any kind of jokes like that. That's just jokes I would make, actually. But anyways, and then I love it when the Penguin kind of taunts his one of his goons, but he basically is just talking about the idea. It's like, okay, even if they because obviously Batman says, hey, tell the Penguin, give him what he wants, let him know, and then we're gonna get him. And basically they relay the message back to Penguin. And then obviously one of the main goon, the pilot, I guess you could say, is just kind of saying like, yeah, but what if it's like some kind of double cross or something? And Penguin's like, oh, he's got it covered. He's got a backup plan. But as he's telling him, he like cuts off his buttons on his shirt. Like, it's such a interesting, weird thing.
I was like, dude, what that shirt do to you? Yeah. Like, now he can't like button it up. Yeah. I mean, he took out all the buttons. I'm like, wait, you want to like be like barrel chested, henchman flying your helicopter? I questioned that choice.
It was
not gonna lie.
It was an interesting way to talk about your plan and kind of just like scare your own goon by cutting off his buttons with your knife that's out of your umbrella. Okay, interesting choice. Penguin's lost. I mean, maybe because remember that episode where he was trying to be good, trying to be something, and man, he's really fallen off the reservation a little bit. I guess after making those the license plate frames or like cleaning those up, I don't know, maybe he's just I don't care anymore. I don't care. I just want to mess with people now. I don't know.
Well, think about it. So we had Birds of a Feather where he got completely played, and then we had Mechanic, and just all the car trauma. I like how we went from a car episode to like a completely like aircraft episode with Penguin. I'm like, we're making some interesting choices here.
We are making,
but notice the helicopter's called a Raven, so we have to keep the bird theme going
naturally
here with Penguin.
Yes, of course. And then of course they say like, all right, meet at this I think it was like at midnight or whatever, and they have I love it too, and it's like a suitcase. And I even like when I was like writing my notes and I saw, I'm like, wow, $100 million is actually gonna fit in there. No, it's like, come on, Penguin, do you think $100 million would fit in that suitcase right there? No, but then of course it naturally doesn't. It says gotcha. It has a note that says gotcha, and then of course we hear Batman say gotcha. I was like, cool. I like it. I dig it.
I was a little surprised by, he shoots the net, and it's like, well, Penguin's probably going to be able to cut itself out. I guess the only thing that I question logic-wise, because otherwise I think it's a fun episode. Totally the only thing I question now is just how much he just like flies around in the Batwing. Dude. And it's like you threw the net thing. Why didn't you try to incapacitate the helicopter right there when it's still on the ground? I'm like there are things he could have done to like nip in the bud, but no, because plot had to happen. We needed plot.
But then there's also the fact that his vision's not all there too, where he maybe can see a lot of things. I don't know. There's some of that.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that for like a lot of like the sort of the funky flying that happens, especially after the Batwing gets shot with a laser and he's losing power. That I will completely like. I can wave my magic hand over that and go, "Oh, he can't see shit."
No,
so
yeah. But how about those lasers? How about that sound effect that came out of it?
Oh, okay, I have heard that. I am trying to figure out, like, that is like a canned laser sound.
Yes.
Like, I have heard that laser sound.
I'm trying to figure it out too.
Numerous times, and I am trying to place where.
Dude, like when I heard that, I went, was that Star Wars? No, it wasn't Star Wars. But it has like a certain sound that I figured you were going to feel that too, because it just triggered something in my brain from my childhood, some kind of animated film, like movie or TV series that I went, geez, that was something familiar right there. Yes, I am with you on that. And it's not Star Wars, because when I even wrote Star Wars and I put a question mark and I'm like, no, it was not Star Wars, but I don't, yeah, but I felt exactly the same. That sound effect. Holy shit.
Man, I'm like, and it's like, it's got to be something Warner Brothers related. It's in some sort of sound library. And they were like, here's laser sound effect. And but man, it tickled my brain. It tickled my brain.
Yes, the nostalgia brain, like you just, oh, there's something. I reckon I've heard that many times. Maybe one of these days, I'm gonna be like 2:00 in the morning. I'm gonna have a dream. I know it was. Maybe, who knows? But yeah, that's what's gonna happen. I'm gonna be laying in bed, and then it's gonna hit me right there. But I mean, Batman. Even before they brought out those laser cannons, he drops all those like little spiky little bomb ball things that kind of mess up the helicopter, of course, which starts going down. And this is like all while Penguin and another goon are like hanging on a rope ladder too. Well, we got to love those rope ladders when it comes to helicopters and people hanging on them. I'm telling you, it's intense, right?
Oh man. Well, hey, at least they were far enough on the ladder that before the helicopter crashed, I could at least buy their ability to like
jump off
and hit the ground. Like, it wasn't like they didn't like jump from like a ridiculous height. Like, I'll give them credit for that.
I will give him, yeah, and Penguin's a pretty round fella, when he does a little like, drop and roll thing. I mean, he's got a lot of cushion right there, so he wouldn't get too injured for doing a little drop like that. But yeah, so then of course those laser cannons, and then it's funny too. I started laughing at this. Have you seen? Okay, so when Batman is like, he's got the joystick and he's going trying to like, crash land the Batwing. Have you seen the GIF of this where people have used? Have you ever seen it?
I don't think I have. No.
So basically, it's like people will use it, and I put naughty GIF because they'll blur out the stick, and it's almost like Batman is,
Oh, why?
Oh yeah, I've seen it before where people have used that as something, and it's just Batman going like that. And I'm like, I started laughing because I'm like, oh my god, it's this episode that has that freaking GIF, because all you have to do is blur that out, and then it makes it naughty. It really does. Jeez. But yeah, I started laughing. I did. Let's see. People are talking about the same sound was also used in Darkwing Duck every time the electric villain shot bolts out of electricity. Megavolt.
Okay, Megavolt.
There it is. There's something right there.
There it is. All right.
But I'm telling you, that's not the only thing that it's also been used. But yes, that's one of them. For some reason, I was thinking He-Man at one point. I was thinking, I don't know, but it's been used more than once. But yeah, that is most likely one of them right there. Yeah, so there you go. See, the chat comes through.
I'm also wondering, because this would have come later, is also when in the Gargoyles, when Xanatos had the Iron Clan, like the robot gargoyles. I'm wondering if that was the same laser effect that
I'm telling you
that shot out of. It's just like it's like that laser sound.
It was like that. Yeah, everybody used that sound, just like when you hear the Wilhelm scream. Everybody you hear the Wilhelm scream in movies various times, and people just use it for various reasons. But yeah, it was like probably that just standard, like, hey, you need a sound, and they used it a lot, and that's why it tickled our nostalgia brain right there of what was going on. But yeah, so then of course the Batwing crashes, and we know automatically when he gets out before it blows up, it's like you see the cable get yanked out. That's, obviously charging his headpiece that he's using to see. And you're like, oh, here we go. That's what's happening. And sure enough, he just looks at the broken cable. And he's just like, yep, shit. What am I going to do now? I forgot what he says. What did he say? He said something.
Yeah, I think he said, Perfect.
Yeah. Batman and his I love how he talks to himself in this. So then of course he starts, I love it how he's just constantly doing
Okay, I have to call bullshit on that. I mean, seriously, it's like banging your TV. It doesn't actually do any good. And I'm like, what do you? You're Batman. You're a smart guy. What do you think doing that all the time is going to do to the device? I love it when he finally gets to a point later on that he bangs it enough that it finally, like, he finally just runs out of whatever latent charge he has, and it just completely like.
And I love how it, like, you know, it just like recharge is just like right in center frame of what he's looking at. It just says recharge, and then it just cuts in and out. But yeah, there's a lot of just that, and I'm like, yeah, same thing. I'm like, okay, maybe Batman is just so, you know, he's so powerful that his hands are just like, you know, they have charge in them as he's doing that, because it's like, yeah, I don't know how many. If your phone is going to be losing charge, if you smack it, it ain't gonna just be like, oh my God, I got 2 more percent. You know, I got 2. It's like, it's not gonna happen. So yeah, but aesthetically, they had to do something where it's like, how do we, you know, this thing's gonna be running out, it's gonna be cutting in and out. So they had to do some kind of aesthetic thing where it's like, just show Batman doing this. I know, it's pretty ridiculous.
It's kind of ridiculous.
Yeah, it is. But it does make for an entertaining, you know, little final battle here when they go into this like steel. I don't know. It's like it's like a steel mill.
It was the finale to Terminator 2, man.
It was
the finale to Terminator 2. I'm waiting for the T-1000 to show up.
Yeah, seriously, you're right, because there's like, oh yeah, they're just making, it's just a lot of like liquid hot steel. They're making some stuff that he's going into right here, and then it's like, all right, there's many times where Batman almost dies. I mean, he comes very close to just walking off a platform and just burning into, you know, Terminator style at the very end, just totally burning. But man, it was like an interesting choice. And then I love that Penguin is like watching him. He's like, there's something wrong. He seems to be injured. Like, what is, I mean, they're all looking at him because he's just not doing well at all. And they're just seeing all this. And I do like that, because it's like, oh yeah, here's our chance to take out the Batman. He is effed up right now. Totally effed up.
Well, and then of course you get the one goon who, you know, Batman does defeat, you know, by the skin of his teeth. By the way, this is one I want to take an opportunity to say, I do love how Penguin bothered to like deck out his goons in like bomber jackets and like pilot hats.
Oh, of course.
And Penguin himself has a nice little aviator scarf with like a flight cap.
It's all about aesthetic, like, man. It's all about aesthetics. It's all about it.
But, you know, I give credit. And this is where I want to take an opportunity to say, Lin Wein wrote this episode. He developed the story and wrote it. And of course, Lin Wein, co-creator of Wolverine, co-creator of Swamp Thing. He wrote Moon of the Wolf that we watched a few months back, adapted from one of his, own, like he literally was the one who wrote the comic book story. Yeah, so, we've got a legit comic book writer here writing this episode. So I like the fact that he gives Penguin enough awareness to see Batman kind of struggling, and then when he accidentally bumps that screwdriver over, and then Batman throws the Batarang, and Penguin's like,
"Oh,
wait a minute," and then he does. Then he throws the screwdriver over to the other side, and he's like, "Oh, you can't see a damn thing, can you? You're literally just reacting to sound."
That's all he's doing. And then, but even before that, there's like a moment where it's like, Batman, you almost killed the guy too, because obviously he was like hanging off the the platform right there, and the guy like, hits his stomps on his fingers, and then of course the thing's still cutting in and out, and then he finally, at the last moment, he does like a Batman 89 scissor like grab your neck, and then he just throws him down. Luckily he doesn't fall into the molten steel. But it's like, dude, you lucked out. Good aim, Bats, because he just landed on the back of like whatever, but still pretty hot there. Jesus Christ, relax. But at this moment, he's just like,
once again, leg day.
Yeah, leg day. Strong, those strong bat dies right there. But but then eventually the whole thing goes out, and this is the clip that I wanted to show, because this is our little final showdown between him and the Penguin. And Batman's just done. He's like, can't see, he's stumbling, but he uses his he uses that ninja brain of his that we know that he has that to defeat, to capture the Penguin right here. And I love how quiet it is. Don't you love how there's no music?
No music. I love
no
that.
music. And then there's the screwdriver you were talking about, and he throws it right there. And Penguin starts figuring it out right there.
And when also Batman with like the grayed out eyes.
Yeah.
Your aim appears to be a little off today, Batman. I don't think you can hit the broadside of a barn, let alone the broadside of this bird.
Ah, good line. Good line.
Cyclist.
It is a good. It is a good line.
Yeah.
Got one right.
You got one right. And then bam, gets him right there. It's look, he's like sounding like almost like the Joker right there, huh?
Thank you. Yeah. I thought the exact same
thing. Man, you're getting a little like what? And then right there, this is where he almost dies. And it's like, dude.
Where do you think you're going?
Look at this. Look at this. Now this is the end of like Revenge of the Sith.
Dead end, rodent.
And of course, he uses that intellect to. And this is what I like too, is like he uses the water that's like on this right here to release the valve. It just kind of like creates some steam.
But I also love the fact that like he's feeling the water and so he knows what's there. Like he's like, oh wait, there's the valve here.
And there it is. Perfect.
The animation in this episode is very
pretty. It is. It's good. And there you go. That's how he defeats the Penguin, not being able to see anything. But yeah, you're right. The animation, it's good. It's good animation in this episode.
I like when he comes like, flying down like Batman, and Penguin's like, Penguin basically throws like a hissy face, like, it's not fair. You can't see. You're supposed to be helpless.
It's like not fair. What the hell are you talking about? I mean, I guess. But and then of course, Penguin gets he ties him up. And then we have the ending, which basically has, of course, Bruce. Now this time he's in his normal, brown and yellow, his suit. He's in his normal suit that we see him in all the time. And they're taking it, Leslie is taking off the bandages and they're wondering if like he's being able to see. And I love how Alfred is like so like worried and just so like, and that he drops the paper. And then of course, Bruce just like grabs the paper real quick. And great little ending for this episode, I will say.
Well, there's just one part of me, though, that wants to like look at that and go, really? We're just going to be like, yeah, I totally did something stupid and reckless. And it just worked out for everybody. And it's like, oh, come on, Batman. It's like, it's like that the ending does like, and even Leslie's there like chuckling, a little bit. And I'm like, no, Leslie, you should like take that newspaper and smack Bruce right upside the head.
No. Well, no, it's seriously, I get that. I mean, but what could you do? It's just like one of those things. I mean, it could have turned into like the end of a G.I. Joe episode where they're like, but still, kids, if you have damage to your eyes, make sure you listen to your doctor and you stay, make sure you keep them covered and make sure your wounds heal correctly.
And the more you know, and and knowing is half the battle.
Go, Joe. Yeah. Christ. I did not think we were going to talk about G.I. Joe in this episode, but hey, here we are. But, like you said, though, it's a fun episode. I would agree with you that it is probably the best Penguin episode. It's a good little episode. And it obviously when it comes to Batman losing his sight and blind as a bat, it all just writes itself. But, just again, Penguin being like, it's not fair because it's like, oh yeah, Batman loses his sight. That's like, that's one of his strengths right there. I mean, well, obviously that's everyone's strengths, but still it's like even the Penguin couldn't defeat Batman when he was blind. And that's what's cool. Like, again, fun episode.
I also want to take an opportunity to point out the glorious title card art. Like, this is a really awesome piece of artwork for this title card.
Yes, with the red and everything, like we were talking about. Yeah, it's a really great. the swirl,
the sonar look to it, you know, like a bat's echolocation. That's really
and then just have his silhouette right there in the middle of it. Yeah, it's a really good title card. But what do we got next week?
Do you know? Are you at like? Are you?
I want you to say it. Go ahead.
It's the Demon's Quest Part 1. Oh, yes.
Hey, there we go. That's right. We got another 2-parter coming right here. And, well, we got Mr. Raz Al Ghul coming into play right here. Is that what's happening?
Yeah, and like we said, just 2 or 3 weeks after, you know, David Warner passed away, it's kind of, I'm glad we got to this in time to like kind of like, I feel like we can pay tribute to the man with his not his first appearance, but his first full appearance as Ra's al Ghul in the animated series.
It's gonna be good right there, guys. So make sure you watch that episode. And you know, like I said, when it comes to this episode, fun episode, great Penguin episode. I think we've all what we needed to say when it comes to this, right, Scott?
I have one little piece of trivia.
There you go. I was hoping for something.
Okay, because it's not voice related, because we've seen all these voices before.
I figured it wasn't.
But I found this on the internet, if you can believe the internet. But the music that the teenagers are listening to in the car was heard on the radio in Almost Got It.
No shit! Wow, interesting. There's a nice little Easter egg right there. Would have never even thought about that. Tell you what, jeez. Oh man. Oh, okay. So Eric thinks it would have been a better 2-parter. Okay. I mean, I thought they did a pretty good job with it. If they really wanted to go like in depth with it and bring in another character like a Robin or something like that, maybe they could have like added to it. I don't know. But I thought it was a pretty good for a one episode. You know,
it moves really good. For, like when you talk about 22-minute episodes, about the only thing that's a stretch is how quickly they build the you know, the device. That's the one part that's like, that's a bit of a stretch. Like you basically cook that sucker up in like half a day.
Yeah. So maybe with that. But other than that, I'm like, maybe it wouldn't have been for a 2-parter. But like I said, next week we have part 1 of that, and like, you know, and that's where we get into more backstory with all that, and we hear Talia like talk to, you know, refer to him as my love and all that stuff. We get beloved. Oh, I thought it was my love. Man, see, there you go. My brain went to my love. It's beloved. That's right. Jeez, Mandela effect. That's what it is. No, just kidding. But anyways, all right, guys, that's it. Make sure you guys watch that episode next week, and we'll be here most likely we'll be here at the normal time, same bat time, same bat channel. Scott, go ahead and send us off.
Well, of course, you can find me on Twitter at ScottDC27. You can find my podcast, the DC Squadcast, wherever podcast can be found. Our last episode was us discussing the Batgirl investor call. Like we did like an actual like news reaction commentary episode. So you hear our thoughts. But I give Tim credit for using my episode idea. We've seen what promises are worth.
Nice. All right. And make sure you guys smash that like.
And of course, we're on Vero, Facebook, YouTube, with the entire network of shows at squadcastmedia.com. And I do want to say at patreon.com/squadcastmedia, our full 6-host review of Batman Forever is live. So remember, $5 a month supporting the network, and you can listen to us, and it's about an hour and a half long discussion on Batman Forever. It is totally worth it.
Good. Check that out, guys. Make sure you subscribe, support the Patreon, and then of course hit that like, thumbs up, do all that stuff down below. Everything's there. My Patreon's down there too. Remember, do all that stuff. I'll see you guys tomorrow on Film Junkie Live at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. But as for now, I'm gonna be watching some Westworld after this. That's for damn sure. All right, guys, we love you. We'll talk to you later.